didn't change much in the grand scheme of the game, and BLG did bounce back, it was still important because Meteor was then put on edge.
Well, we have to see if he will be put on edge as we get into pick and ban. Fofo will not see the Lucian one more time, as it will be banned away by BLG. And actually, correction, it will be RNG on red side.
It's RNG on blue side.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. Never mind.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know where you're looking, because I see very much RNG on the blue.
My bad. But we are still seeing, at least, Meteor is going to be not getting his hands on the Elise. This was something that we saw BLG prioritize, we said, in their game 1 of their first series, but I still want to see them try and pick up an early jungler here. I think something like the Jarvan, well, I mean, we're seeing the Rumble banned away, but still Jarvan, that early game pressure, even go for that level 2 gank if you really want to, and get Meteor the advantage already in this jungle matchup.
Already RNG focusing themselves around what they thought worked in that last game, and it was, of course, the misfortune for Betty as well as the Philios going over to the side of BLG. Meteor looking like he might go back onto that Gragas. It is still a very powerful pick, but definitely needs to be improved on from game 1.
It does mean, though, you can't go for something like the Lee Sin, which, I mean, Xiaolongbao is very good on. I mean, could go back towards the Rex side, but when you don't have the likes of the Rumble there, where you can get a lot of this follow-up damage on the knock-up, probably going to steer away from that pick instead.
RNG now weighing up their options. Could take the Braum. Could take a Lee Sin. All right, going heavy damage now with the roaming duo, the Lili, as Clement likes to call it, double Lees, LeBlanc and Lee Sin.
I was surprised to see the Lee Sin come through, because you can work pretty well as the Gragas to counteract the Sonic Wave. And as well, if you start to go in as the Lee Sin, could find yourself in the business end of a Gragas cast. But we're looking at the LeBlanc for Zhao, who very quickly Fofo answers with the Lissandra. This is just I'm going to stay safe, I'm going to push the wave in and make sure that Zhao, who really can't get any advantages here.
Unfortunately, similar to Kuro in the last split, BLG have put Fofo on point, click, and we kill a carry, Judy. And not a bad pick, of course. Lissandra still has her very good wave clear, can also go with that very good flanking position with the Ice Claw, able to get into good positions in that particular sense. But the Shen ban coming out for BLG means I feel like they were looking towards RNG, looking towards that massive 5-man bot.
Yeah, it could also still be something like the Shen support for Ming. That is something that Ming has played a little bit of. Still relatively okay and does give you support across the map. And I think if I'm on BLG, I'm trying to look at my top side of the map and go, I need to have some sort of supplemental damage here. Because, yes, Aphelios can do a lot of AoE burst damage, but they'd like something maybe along the lines of an Aatrox that can help out to a certain extent, because you have the AP damage from Meteor, tiny bit of damage from Fofo, but they really want something that can just finish off anyone that's left.
Aurelia, maybe?
Aurelia could work as well.
Yeah. Nasus?
AP Nasus.
AP Nasus, of course. Got to get that the W. What's the name of the W again?
The W? No, the E is
the E.
The E is the...
What's it called?
We're casters. We don't need to know this.
It's completely blocked my mind. I'll come into you like 5 minutes into the game and it'll be like, that's what it is. But see, the last bans, the Rakan finally banned away by the side of BLG, with the Camille banned away by RNG. Let's see now, what support do they want to link up with Aphelios and Jin Zhao in that bot side?
So I'd imagine this means that they could go for the Braum, although the Leona is hovered. Take the Braum, go for the Ornn in the top lane then, but you are giving the opportunity for it to be counterpicked on the opposite side. We will be taking the Leona. But yeah, it looked more to me like they were just trying to remove any sort of split push power, because BLG, with the picks that they have locked in right now, are heavily in on this team fight and want to force RNG to go towards that.
Spirit Fire! That's what it is. That's what it's called. Spirit Fire is, of course, the
You weren't
Ring of
listening to
Fire.
me for the last like 10 seconds looking that up.
How dare you? How dare you? I will not be called out on stream again. But, like you said, the Aatrox will be locked in there for RNG, which means they have a lot of front-loaded damage. It does deny the Aatrox from BLG, which you did allude to. The Renekton is still available, the Aurelia, Morgana as well. Ming on Morgana. That's another massive pick for this guy. It almost feels like everything's a massive pick for him, considering how good he is on support. But Gangplank could be the final pick for BLG.
Morgana works quite well here because it fits into several different functions, and stopping so much CC that is available for BLG also provides you an engage tool, or at least a bit of a disengage tool for when Meteor comes in, or Jinmo as well on this Leona. On the opposite side, I'm kind of looking at, okay, You've got Fofo, who can be this point-and-click CC. You've got Jinmo, who essentially can be a point-and-click CC. There's so many different targets that whoever the Black Shield does go on to, they just turn. They can go towards Zhao Hu, they can go towards Zhao Longbao. There's so many other options for them to go for. It means that Ming is really going to have his work cut out from him, picking the exact right target to make sure they're getting their Black Shield.
Composition's locked in, coaches have shaken hands. And right now, BLG looking to bring themselves back into this series. I want to see if this Aphelios is a good Aphelios or a bad Aphelios. No disrespect to Jin Zhao, but it isn't looking great for his win percentage.
It's not even Jin. Well, it's the rest of the Aphelios we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to be at pushing 30% win rate right now for Aphelios with two more losses today.
Well, it's one loss.
We had one in the first series.
Yeah, one win. JDG. Short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
Big brain, Oshin. Big brain penguin.
Pat in the back.
Pat me, pat my shoulder. I'm with a Twitch chat right now who heard you say, like, you know, 2 losses. They're like, no, actually, it was 1 loss and a win.
I'm glad you saved me. You're the voice of Twitch chat in this scenario.
Good God, what have I done?
What have I become?
What have I become? Jumping onto the Rift, BLG need this win. They need to show that they can be competitive against the likes of RNG. This is the first real test we're seeing for BLG in the 2019 season.
And I mean, it's a little bit early days. Obviously, it's only their second series,
but you don't get a second chance.
You don't, and that's what I was going to say. Is you don't get a second chance against any of these teams. So you need to show up at the start. And now we're seeing a very different style come through from them as well, with Fofo and the Lissandra stepping away from the carry and being more of a CC bot.
We will waste no more time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to jump straight onto the Rift for BLG versus RNG. RNG looking to solidify themselves back to the top of the table where they always belong with a quick 2-0. BLG looking to bring us to a game 3. I won't lie. That sounded really sad.
That middle one was
that BLG chant was super sad. It was like RNG, an entire chorus of angels, and then BLG was just like one guy and a group of people just being like, oh.
Yeah, had a bit of the plague going as well. I think I had a cough halfway through. Just, oh, save me.
But we've seen it before, where the crowds flip-flop depending on who's won previous games. So RNG obviously riding that momentum, of course a fan favorite as well. But now for BLG, this is to kind of step it up, to silence that crowd, to really put them on edge, because they lose this to go 2-0 down. Obviously they lose the series, but of course RNG then go for sky high.
Sky's the limits for both of these teams. Both of them looking at the top of the table, both wanting to secure it. RNG to kind of keep their legacy going. BLG to keep the legacy they've kind of started going. Coming into summer, they really came into their own. They ended up finishing 4th, but this, when you look at the roster, is a team that can contend with RNG, FPX, IG, and I'd love to see them now take that first step to making it up higher and taking the fights in the playoffs.
And just on that point of BLG kind of building their legacy, building their time, last season they just missed out on that, qualification for the gauntlet. It was literally between them and top eSports in the 3rd place playoff. Whichever one got 3rd literally got into the playoffs. That was how the gauntlet ran for them. And it was a little bit of a disappointment. We actually had, if you look back towards, Raz, of course, and a lot of other analysts who were talking about it. BLG were kind of expected almost to kind of go for this, and will he be able to steal it? He will not. Meteor will take that one there and back himself away. Bit of a scary moment there.
And a strange swapping has happened here, where Gragas is going to go in towards his own jungle back again, and then XLB will be able to clear out his side. So vertical jungling, not going to be too much with both junglers on this top side of the map, but now they are going to be able to answer for that clear back down towards the bottom half.
Kingin as well having a pretty decent time against this Aatrox, naturally, of course, because the Gangplank does have that very annoying range advantage, even though he's melee.
We are going to see Zhao Longbao taking control of this early matchup. Both junglers have hit 3. Zhao Hu's got the push in the mid, but they might just turn onto the LeBlanc here.
Zhao Hu obviously needed to be very careful, took the sweeper just to make sure. And you can see now Ming on warding duty. Again, getting that deep vision, making sure that he is in a position to give as much information to his jungler and to his team so that he and his jungler can set up the plays.
Jinmo and Xinjiao are already roaming up though. This is everyone on their way. Black Shield.
Black Shield was used, which means that a double stun does come down. They're trying to jump straight onto XLB, who has to flash away. The distortion is good, but it's forcing out the Mimic. And that means that the rest of RNG have to back away. Slight win to BLG.
And that's actually going to work out pretty well for BLG. It's the low health bars are onto the likes of Zhao and onto Ming, who's going to be forced to back away. Betty, however, didn't roam up, managed to clear out a little bit of the wave, so Betty will be in a better spot where he has this experience advantage, but Xinjiao and Jinmo are making their way back down to try and equal that one up with a slightly larger wave.
Betty backing away, realizing that Jinmo was just creeping behind him, but that does mean that the wave can be frozen in this middle spot should Xinjiao decide to do that. But similar to what you were saying about the Morgana pick is that it is something that only has one black shield. Once that's gone, it's over, and there's so much single target CC.
And also only has one flash, which was burnt in that engage, which means looking towards Meteor, that's a big target for Ming in that bottom side of the map. You have Jinmo set up the play, going in with the Zenith Blade to bait out the black shield, and then Meteor can just hold on to his flash and stun to make sure that the second that black shield goes down, that he's able to pick up the kill.
These junglers are just... might as well be twins in The Shining, just holding hands this entire time, looking at each other, following each other's paths.
This is what you have to do as Xiaolongbao though. If you're going for the likes of the Elise and the Lee Sin, you're very heavily focused on this early game. You either got to find the ganks and get the kills in your favor to make it worthwhile picking up the Lee Sin, or eventually what's going to happen is that the Gragas damage, the CC, and that big cast that he brings to the table are going to do far more in team fights. So XLB getting in and trying to force Gragas back will give a little bit of an opportunity for RNG to keep pushing the advantages that they have in the lane, like with Xiaohu and Longxin on that top side.
Sneaky Dragon is on the cards for RNG though, as Xiaolongbao is pretty much in full darkness, despite that Scuttle Crab being there, and that's going to be Infernal Drake very early on going over to the side of RNG.
Yeah, I mean, he's already cleared out most of the camps that are on the Gragas side, or at least fought for them. So able to take this, will be able to back over the wall, clear out his own jungle as well, and that's when you should see Xiaolongbao equaling up on the experience and the CS and set themselves up nicely for this mid game. Again, we're seeing a slow start from both of these teams, but it's because we're waiting on the level 6 to be hit for Fofo, for the likes of Xiaohu, where we got the burst, and now they can start to try and make plays around these side lanes.
This is where it all comes down. BLG have got Fofo's Glacial Prison in that mid lane. See, there's the Cannon Barrage being dropped down onto Longxin. You can see Kingin kiting pretty beautifully, if I'm being totally honest right now, and really forcing the flash. Will he have enough damage? Take down! Yes, he will. A straight-up solo kill for BLG in the top side.
And King in coming in big for BLG there. Wasn't expecting to see a solo kill coming out, but you already see how much Kingen has been bullying Longxin. A 20 CS lead, now a kill with the teleport burn. Longxin's going to lose a massive amount of this wave to the turret.
No teleport, no flash. No CS, unfortunately. That means he's going to fall even further behind in this top side. 25 CS down already, and that kill is that Kingen hypothetically should be having a pretty easy time scaling himself up. And you can see it's just straight up damage.
I mean, you get caught by that initial barrel. Kingen does a good job of playing around the knockups coming through from Longxin. Doesn't even bother throwing down the second barrel, just wants to get the passive procced off of the barrel hit. And Longxin, we talked about him stepping up. Unfortunately, that's not the way you want to do it.
Step up or step out, but I like how the Kingen at this level obviously knew exactly how much damage he needed. Popping the Corrupting Potion, able to tick him all the way down. Now Meteor looking for Xiaolongbao, roaming with Fofo. They are really starting to put on the pressure now, knowing the top lane is very much in their favor. BLG looking to control this top side of the map.
They just wanted to make sure that Xiaohu couldn't get that blue buff, because in their minds they want to have Fofo pick up their own blue, and he can then shove in that wave and start to get the pressure around these side lanes. Xiaohu already below half on the mana, means he'll be able to back fairly soon without that blue, and they can start to have BLG open up this game. Oh, Lang Jin.
Only getting his World Ender now, so wouldn't have been able to trade at all should they have gone any further, and no teleport either means that he is just being decimated in this top side.
Which means Fofo and Meteor can go back to focusing on that bottom side of the map. Ming does have his flash back up, so it won't be as easy to get involved, but Jinmo is only a few moments away from picking up that level 6. Suddenly that's a lot of CC that can come the way of the RNG bottom lane.
And this is very different from game 1 as well. We're seeing BLG having the pace, having the step ahead of RNG, whereas in the game 1 it was a tango. They were both stepping the same way, stepping the same direction. Now it's looking more like the side of BLG have the number of RNG, and RNG need to change that.
And a lot of it stems from Lang Jin actually giving over control. But as I say that, actually, he is spotting that Kingen is backing, so it does give the opportunity for at least the Rift Tower to be set up. But BLG definitely know.
100% they know. You can see straight
what's
away.
giving it away?
No one in bot lane? Question marks. Again, BLG adapting, pushing themselves forward, making sure they're in position. Rift Herald will just reset, and BLG could just back away from this.
Has to be so careful. Zhao, who goes in, can find himself in the business end of Fofo's ultimate. Does not want to get caught out by that Glacial Prison.
Now we can see a very, very early 5v5, but it looks like both sides not really comfortable taking this just yet. No perfect vision for either of them. And they're just backing themselves right the way back to their lanes, but it is a lane swap coming in here from the side of RNG.
Yeah, they want to try and keep control of this top side of the map. Does mean that BLG can have Meteors move down to pick up the Dragon, but this will be answered eventually. Kingen is going to back away here, walk down towards the lane, and Lang Jin won't be able to push that in before he loses out on that CS.
BLG starting to dictate the pace, starting to step to the tune of RNG. We knew this was going to be close, and I'm hoping for a third game because this has been an absolute treat to watch. But right now, RNG need to stop the bleeding. They need to stem Lang Jin's descent down into terrible madness because he is just falling further and further behind. With that Executioner's Calling picked up by Kingen as well, it's only going to get harder.
And this was something that I didn't expect to see from Lang Jin when he joined RNG. Back when he was on Suning as Zhao Al, this guy looked unstoppable when it came to carries, especially with the help that he was getting from Hacker. But now on RNG, seems that not quite up to the level that he used to, and Kingen is showing him the ropes as BLG start up this Dragon.
They have leashed it out. It's just an ocean, so only a little bit of regeneration, so RNG won't be too unhappy with letting that one go. They got the Infernal, arguably the better of the two objectively. And that means we're going to have our first Cloud Rift as everything starts to get a little bit faster.
And that's going to be massive for BLG. If you look at the ultimates that they have available, if you can get the 10% cooldown reduction and the increased movement speed off the back of that, BLG should be able to run over these guys when it comes to just consistent team fights over and over. But not as big of a one for the RNG side. You're not really overly worried about those ultimates. Instead, it's more kind of a poke with Zhao, that's going to be starting off these team fights. Ming getting a binding.
Oh, getting a binding, also getting the chains as well. But in bot lane, Kingen's in a lot of trouble. And he gets taken straight down. A fight on two fronts. RNG come out on top.
RNG find the picks in both directions, which was never what you really expect from BLG. Meteor is trying to take down this Rift Herald as quickly as possible, so then they can secure that one. But without that kill going over, RNG aren't happy enough to contest with Zhao Longbao on the bottom side of the map.
You're going to almost certainly just drop this towards top side, but you can see already RNG just pushing their ways towards that top lane turret, knowing the damage that this Rift Herald can do. Zhao, sadly for you, my friend, you will have to watch this one die. Can stay here, though, to kill the Rift Herald so they don't get any more of a push.
I like that BLG are understanding, though, that Jin Zhao has to be the big damage dealer for them here. They need to get the gold onto this AD carry to cover these team fights. Kingen will be off in the side lane pushing, so Aphelios has to do Aphelios things, or they won't have the damage to continue on in these team fights. And giving this Rift Herald up on the top side, securing a few more plates for Aphelios, means that they're starting to get this AD carry going.
See how this all happened in the bot side. Complete miss. It just straight up. He went too far in and got his hands caught in the cookie jar.
You can see though Longshin is still giving a good amount of respect to the damage that this pirate can put out. But if XLB is there in the wings, there's nothing you can do about it.
You mentioned pirates are now canonically Gangplank versus Misfortune.
True.
That's canon. I'm very happy with that.
I thought you were making a joke about the cannon barrage for a second, and it's kind of like, okay, you're very heavily playing into this.
You know, you could have just said nothing and laughed, and everyone else would have understood it. I wouldn't have, but I wouldn't even have realized.
Those are the best ones sometimes, though, where you just take it. It's like, totally meant that. Totally.
Totally 100% meant that. Do you remember when they deleted Gangplank? Like, straight up deleted him from the game?
That was a little bit frustrating for anyone who was actually a big fan of him.
I'm not. Still haven't. I find him very frustrating to deal with.
I still remember everyone kind of going, this barrel mechanic sounds real stupid. I don't think it's going to be very good. And then he came out as like, this barrel mechanic's real good.
It ignores all your armor. Obviously, that was back when it first came out. BLG now trying to keep this pirate a yo-ho-hoing up in this top side. Make sure he's picking up as much CS as he possibly can, getting enough blunder. What was it? Blunder?
Plunder.
Was it?
Plunder.
Plunder.
You're close.
I was nearly.
That was a blunder
I
on
blundered
plunder.
my plunder. And right now, game is just kind of slowing down. Binding lands. And that's a great black shield as well to stop the solar flare, which means Jin Zhao still has his heal, still has his flash, so didn't lose anything as such. King In now here fighting for the Krugs with Xiaolong Bao. And right now the Dragon will be spawning in a minute 30, so BLG looking to try and sort themselves out towards this bot side, make sure they have priority.
The bullet time will just about be up for that Dragon fight though, so this is where BLG are trying to make a play elsewhere to ensure that they get control of that objective.
Meteor going to be spotted out here by Longshin as he looks to try and steal these Krugs, as he knows his Krugs were stolen, and going to be a trade of turrets either side of the map with a minute until that Air Drake spawns, or Cloud Drake, excuse me.
Trade for trade, one tower for one tower as BLG start to continue the push forward. But if my math is correct, 4 is greater than 2, so RNG are going to be forced to try and respond to this.
Can confirm 4 is greater than 2. Your maths does check out. So we see they're already possibly going to be able to take this one down with the Crescendum as well. That extra little turret, man. He's able to help you push it down, so it's a 2-for-1 trade. BLG, similar to Game 1, able to turn up the heat around the 15-minute mark to be able to push RNG back.
And that's one of the things, actually, just going back to your turret point, was the thing about the Aphelios turret is, as we were talking about actually off camera, is that you can leave that turret there, and unlike pretty much every other thing you can spawn in the game, it won't get targeted first by the tower, so it essentially gives you another minion to try and work that turret down with.
A supercharged minion that just constantly fires at it, and as long as it doesn't proc onto a champion, it will just continue to be hit as a regular minion. So, you see if that bot lane priority is a huge issue for RNG or not, as right now they are just getting top lane vision control. The beauty for BLG though with this Gangplank pick is they have got the Cannon Barrage alongside the TP, so they don't even have to fully commit to sending Gangplank to that bot lane or to a Dragon fight if something were to happen to them.
Xiaohu will most certainly want to be here for that fight though, but unfortunately he's not going to be given an opportunity. Meteor starts this one up and the rest of BLG collapse to finish it off. You can also see Jinmo has made his way up towards the top side of the map to support Kingdom and make sure Xiaohu can't do very much, as he eats a lot of gunpowder there off of that play.
Barrels are very, very annoying, especially if you can combo them correctly, like you just saw Kingdom there, able to push out Xiaohu despite all the support he was getting from Xiaolong Bao. Again, the game will slow down a little bit. We're seeing a lot more tempered play again from both sides, waiting for the best opportunity to fight.
So what RNG are trying to do right now is get the waves on the side under control, where they can have Xiaohu on this top side push in against Kingin because Longshin is struggling so much, and have the LeBlanc come in on a flank, particularly in towards the mid lane, if they see BLG trying to overcommit for the play. The problem is Longshin is not in a position to try and support them on that just yet, so we're having Xiaohu back away, but it's opening up BLG to start to make moves around the map. Have Fofo up here, see if they can catch out Xiaohu as they try to answer for this push, or at least get the waves back in their favor so they can make the push on towards mid lane turret.
Again, BLG, they have the tempo, they have the slight advantages. This time, I will say they have got the Dragons on their favor, but it's still, you cannot discount RNG. We saw what happened last time in an even game. One small mistake from BLG. As I say that, though, Meteor needs to be very careful with how this goes down right now. Realizes he does not want anything to do with that fight right there, and gets himself very quickly over to the wall.
But this is where they're playing pretty heavily around the bot side. I was watching to see where Fofo was going to be going. I saw the claw go out. But they're playing pretty heavily around the bot side of the map. But Longshin is kind of the least of your worries right now. He's just trying to get as much farm as he can. But both these teams are not wanting to give an inch in either of these side lanes. And right now, I'd like to see Jinmo. He actually cancelled the back. I was going to say, move in with Meteor to get some vision control down so they can try and make these more aggressive plays. Because that's what's really lacking from BLG right now, is knowing where Xiaolongbao is, where is Xiaohu. And this is what they need to do to start to solve that problem.
Zhao just farming up as much as he possibly can. Betty up to about 200 CS as well, so still doing fairly decently to try and make sure that they have as much gold in their pockets for the almost impending team fight that is bound to happen. And RNG proved in the last game, they had the positioning, they had the inside tracks in a lot of those fights, so it's up to BLG to really prove them wrong and push themselves forward to make sure that they do not get a repeat of game one.
Kingian manages to win out on the auto attack fight with Xiaohu there, but you can see chipping away is Xiaohu in this top lane. Would love to get his hands on the blue buff to try and keep this pressure up, allowing Longshin to try and work away on this bottom lane turret, but unfortunately it's just not really been the case so far.
See right now, just to say, just chipping away, trying his best to just be as much of a nuisance as possible. Say Kingian wins on the auto attack for the barrel. Xiaohu did get two previously to that.
That's I meant that one.
Oh, that one. But yeah, again, more and more farming for both these sides. And where do you want to see RNG look for a fight? Where do you want to see them look for that kind of masterful engage as they look to try and retake control in this series, or in this game at least?
Well, I think it's actually both teams essentially want to do the same thing, which is try and play through where they have most of their players, and that seems to be either for, if you're an RNG fan, pushing in through that top side to try and push pressure onto the tier 2. You can see Xiaolongbao trying to get in to control the vision up on that side to allow Xiaohu to push in towards the turret. Because if you can force multiple members from BLG to respond to that pressure, it allows Longshin to get the bottom lane turret. On the opposite side, if BLG want to try and push in, they need to get control of this river, get control of the jungle when it comes to wards, so they can utilize Jinmo and this Leona, utilize Meteor with the big ultimate, although he's just been caught.
There we go, there is the bullet time raining down, and that's going to be two ultimates down, one from the side of BLG, which is the solar flare, and of course the bullet time as well. Betty, though, taking a huge chunk and 30 seconds to this dragon. He needs to go back and get back out quick.
Yeah, that's where BLG, you can already see them, should be collapsing on towards this, either the mid lane turret or towards the dragon. I'd like to see them push in with this wave that is arriving to see if they can chip down this turret. Might be a little bit difficult, but with Fofo here, they can threaten the dive.
There is no real wave clear, though, from the side of RNG. Xiaohu's going to have to be the primary wave clear with that distortion. They will eventually see him popping up as Fofo just tries to back himself away. Ethereal Chain will land.
It's Califurum and Gravitum for Jinzhou on the Affilio, so more AoE CC, but not what you want for a team fight that's going to be starting up in just a moment. There's the Infernum, he just managed to pick it up.
Needed it very much so, and this could be the big fight that blows it all open for either side. Xiaohu trying to be a nuisance, putting himself in fog of war. It looks like RNG are happy enough to just let this one go, and that's another Cloud Drake, which opens up the potential for a Dragon Soul now for BLG, but the fight still may be happening. BLG do not want to give up this turret without a fight.
All the ultimates are back up for BLG, but the turret is no longer standing. BLG will back away. It is the third Drake set up, but losing that mid lane turret is going to be a much bigger nuisance for them. It allows RNG now to again go back towards Xiaohu split, pushing across the map, and have XLB be that more supportive unit. Have Ming start to roam around and slowly draw BLG back into the base.
Sonya's Hourglass is now finished up for the Lissandra and Gragas respectively. Meteor and Fofo feeling a little bit safer. Also opens up Fofo to not have to use his Glacial Prison onto himself.
Also, the amount of invulnerability you get with that. For anyone who hasn't seen Lissandra for a while, when you do have the Frozen Tomb and then you've got the invulnerability from your Zhonya's, you can get right into the middle of people, utilize the ultimate, then have the Ring of Frost, the W come up to freeze everyone again. Zhonya's to keep yourself safe, and at that stage, either the team fight's won or you're the last one to die.
It's Frozen Tomb, not Glacial Prison. Glacial Prison says
Glacial Prison is Sejuani. I did the exact same at the start.
Too many ice-based
It's
CCs.
fine. Glacial Fissure, Glacial Prison, Frozen Tomb. What's so difficult?
They all CC and they're all ice-based. Now we see BLG looking to repay the favor of that mid lane turret. Should be able to put down a fair bit of damage. And you can see how quickly it goes down with that crescendo put in. But Longxing should be able to trade back in that bot side. And RNG just keeping within touching distance. You can see the gold lead never getting higher than 1,000, which basically at this stage of the game means very little across the board.
And this is exactly what we saw the last game as well. It took one fight in and around the Dragon to turn it all in favor of RNG. Now BLG are the ones that are pushing in at this Baron, getting control of the area and making it a lot more difficult for RNG to enter. The good news for them is though that they have the black shield that they can toss on to whoever's being at the forefront. They've got Zhao Hu as well, who can just pop in, very quickly place a ward and get back out. They've got ways to deal with the suffocation BLG is trying to put down.
For BLG, that is how they've won games traditionally, pretty much throughout their organization's history, with the coach obviously from the Korean background, is that it's always been about just slowly choking out your opponents, making sure they're denied resources, jungle camps, vision, as much as you physically can. And at that stage, like we call them, the kind of the Korean team in the sea of Chinese team fighters, is that they don't need to team fight you. They know exactly where you are and what you have because they've denied it all from you.
It is curious to see, though, that the two teams that are playing the slowest in the LPL both have Koreans as their head coaches. But now we've got to see BLG. How can they try and put this pressure forward? They have the 2k gold lead. They do have the triple dragons for themselves. And in 2 minutes, there could be a fourth one coming their direction. We already said how fantastic it would be for BLG to pick up that Cloud Soul, but now they have to put their money where their mouth is. See if they can out team fight this RNG lineup and pick up that dragon.
Big items being picked up now. You can see 2 items, pretty much the standard across the board. Betty on 2.5 has that double zeal, or sorry, first zeal into his IE, so having a lot of crit damage potential. Equaled on the other side just now by Jin Zhao. Both sides gearing up for a fight. You can tell that neither of them really wants to give up the ghost on this one.
Not a hope. You were so close to that Baron being spawned. You're so close to that dragon. And now you force RNG into a tough call because they'll want to play around that Dragon Soul. They want to make sure they're on the bottom side of the map. But now as BLG, you can then start to skedaddle up towards the Baron. You can look to take that objective. Force RNG into these tough calls.
RNG taking their reset, making sure they are warded up and ready to go. As you can see there, 6 pink wards, or vision wards, whichever. Legacy, how legacy you are of League of Legends. Sitting in their inventories, as well as a couple of vision totems.
It sounds like one of those terrible memes where it's like, if your control ward has 4 health, don't talk to me.
Okay, Boomer.
That one hurts a little.
That one
hurts a little. I set myself up. I didn't like that.
Congratulations, you played yourself. See now, both teams starting to angle towards this dragon, but that's Meteor caught, and a huge chunk on top of Meteor. Has got a little bit of regeneration on that Ocean Drake, but is definitely not in a position to be contesting this Cloud Dragon. It looks like it's going to be RNGs, and they're going to deny BLG the soul.
RNG just got slipped the answer to the multiple choice question about what they go for. They've now picked it up, but here comes the fight.
Bullet time, not quite able to get enough people there, but a flash in, and Fofo goes into stasis twice over just to make sure he gets the damage. XLB trying to back himself away. They do have the Aphelios damage, but no one has quite gone down. It looked like the moment, but everyone gets out unscathed.
XLB was the hero in that play. Managed to kick away Meteor before he could follow up on the rest of that engage, so no big burst damage to allow Jin Zhao to get into the position to throw down the Moonlight Vigil. That was a massive play from Zhao Longbao.
Xiaolongbao equaling Fofo, who again saw the frame, the half a second of an opportunity to go in on his claw and get the flash in with the Ring of Frost to try and create something for BLG. And at 28.5 minutes in the game, we've only seen 2 kills.
But it's not like it's an unexciting game. That's the thing. It is. I mean, look, I've been in games that are only 2 kills that are, I mean, you might as well be watching paint dry. This is not what we're getting from both these teams. You can see
You can call it LCK, that's fine.
How many unfollows are you going to get off of that one?
I mean, you're already playing.
Yeah,
I get a lot of people just kind of going like, well, hang on.
But yeah, they're keeping this entertaining. They're keeping this very close. And at any moment, you know that these teams are happy to jump on you. They're waiting for the right moment. And unfortunately, that moment has just been taken away from BLG. RNG have extended that clock on the Dragon Soul, which now gives them the opportunity to play around the Baron.
Now, the longer this game goes on, the more time you give over to either side, the less gold means anything. So as you start to cap out on items, you start to see maximum damage, critical mass, if you will, from both of these teams. It no longer becomes a race, it becomes about execution as to how you play these fights rather than what you're playing as. That was a Scryer's Orb to pretty much save the game for BLG.
Just a tad. That was getting a bit ropey, but they do manage to spot out RNG in the bushes. Kingen is free farming in this bottom lane. Doesn't want to push up too far because knows that they could still be collapsed on, but now knows where the rest of RNG are. Now will continue to put the pressure down, although actually walking across here, see if they can catch out RNG and not burn the teleport but force it out along Jin.
2 minutes 30 until that. What number are we at? 6 Drake spawns. And you can see around these areas how quickly you can move with those the Cloud Drake buff on this rift. These are so quick to just run around. If you don't see someone coming, you will just get caught out.
And this is the thing that actually helps out BLG quite a bit, is that they can move quite quickly. If they have Fofo and Keegan join up in this bottom lane, they're actually pretty safe to start pushing in towards that bottom side as a 2-man unit, or at least have Fofo play this assassination alongside Gangplank, because you've got the double teleport and you're not really worried about too much of an engage coming through from the rest of RNG. The only person you really have to watch out for is Xiaohu, because Ming's you're only watching for the binding or a stray sonic wave. Not the easiest to hit when you're just poking about trying to get vision back.
BLG coming out on top of that vision game, able to take themselves a turret, but Longsheng is still pushing in that bot side. Most summoners are available except for RNG Betty and Ming not having their flashes available, but Meteor needs to be very careful. There's the solar flare down, they do get Xiaolongbao, but that's 2 ultimates down for nothing on the side of RNG.
And Longshin has forced in that bottom wave, so Kingen isn't there to help out either. So RNG do find a moment of respite. Now the pings are going down. They know that, well, it looked like Fofo was about to start backing, but they need to.
They have no wards.
Control.
They have no wards. They need to go back and get themselves set up again on this Baron dance. And if you were to call the Baron dance, what would it be? A tango? The cha-cha?
It's more like a waltz. It's like move in and then back.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
Thank you.
It's like a waltz.
It's great because it's like one of the 2 dances that I know. So worked out real well there. It's like my boxing analogy all over again.
I was going to say, I know most of my dances purely from Fortnite, and that makes me a little sad.
Oh no. So it's like a floss. You know, you go one side and then it goes back to the other with the warding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For our younger viewers, it's like a floss. You know, just flossing up and down, just back and forth. But now we got ourselves a second objective on the map. We got ourselves that Cloud Dragon, which could be the 3rd for RNG or the Dragon Soul for BLG. And you can see already with BLG having that reset, they've got the vision, they've got the priority. Flashes are coming up for Betty and Ming.
Fofo forced to use the Hex Tech Protobelt to get away from the stun from Long Jin. Jinmo stepping forward. The Dragon is started up, but I don't think anyone really wants to try and take this one. Don't want to force it to a 50-50.
I'm going to go for a 50-50, 13 to level 13. Dragon will reset down to about 50% HP. You can see that little sneaky barrel off to the side, able to get a bit of damage down, but nothing too substantial. The Q has landed, they go in, it's taken away by RNG as the fight ensues. Everyone goes in, and they're just trying to back away. RNG will lose the GA from Langxing, and now the bullet time rains down on BLG to try and save his top laner. It will work, and nobody, surprisingly, again, goes down.
That was a couple of missteps coming through from BLG. Jin Zhao not able to hit the Moonlight Vigil onto multiple different people meant that he was only able to get onto Langxin. Betty does a great job of tossing down that ultimate to keep the Aatrox safe, allow the RNG top laner to escape, and all said and done, 3 for 3 on the Dragons, 1 for 1 still on the kills, and now this game becomes so much more explosive.
Now you're looking at a Dragon Soul apiece or a Baron. Which do you prefer, the permanent buff or a little bit of an extra push?
If I'm on RNG side, I'll definitely be favouring that Baron. BLG would like to get the Cloud Drake, but they can't let RNG get the Baron. So it ends up back in this weird, okay, check what is the least favourable option.
In the game of flossing, you either win or you lose. You win or you die. That's the way it was. God, I screwed that quote up as well. I'm just not on it today.
No, it's not.
I mean,
look, as soon as you brought in the flossing, I was just like, all right, I'm out. I'm done.
I thought, to be honest with you, I was out once I said plunder instead of plunder. Quite literally the most ironic thing I could have said in that particular moment.
Back to the game, though. Still, this ward dance continues. 3:20 before that Cloud Drake spawns, which means that it's going to be mostly in and around these tight corridors to see if RNG can finally engage. Haven't seen the same sort of pressure come through. Actually, as I say that, Kingen does step in, looking to see if they can grab onto Betty.
That is the Black Shield down. His Betty needs to keep on running home. He has no extra defense, cleanse, use, and flash in that last team fight, so he is summoner-less. Now with the Baron on the table, they've got to wait for that Black Shield to come back before RNG can step forward.
This would be a lot easier for BLG to engage if Fofo had the flash, because that means that then they could close that distance very, very quickly. But unfortunately, not up for the mid laner BLG. So with Betty playing respectful, the Black Shield comes back up.
So tense from both of these teams. For Kingen as well. He's just slowly becoming that monster that Gangplank always becomes in that late game. And the biggest, scariest thing, I suppose, is that there's no consistent hard CC from the side of RNG. They're trying to bait out the Baron. It shall not work.
That was a very close binding onto Jin Zhao, but does have that QSS, so would have been able to at least step away from it. Again, you see, this is what we're talking about with the Blanc. Able to do a decent job of stepping in, putting down one ward, or at least face checking alongside Ming with the Black Shield, although didn't have it that time. Now Zhao Hu off in no man's land.
BLG looking like trying to bait it again. Distortion out. Xiaolong Bao in and around. They do not know he's there. He is in complete fog of war. Here we go. Baron down to 7,000 HP, and you can see they're going to go straight onto Fofo, who has to go golden very, very early in this fight. Baron regens, BLG turned back, and now we're getting slowly closer to that Cloud Drake.
They are most certainly, but looking at BLG, they use the Zhonya's Hourglass. That means you don't have that available for this next fight that's going to be coming up. So if RNG can start this the second that the Cloud Drake is up and available, you're going to have that crucial item down for Fofo.
They should have it before the dragon spawns. They do have 2 Cloud Drakes, so the extra top of that. So again, this is a funny thing. I actually think Cloud Drake is super powerful with this kind of stuff because it does work on items as well. So you can see it ticking down very quickly. And again, we're at an impasse. This has probably been the most exciting game with 2 kills ever.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would honestly, I'd be pretty confident saying that.
You're definitely going to have someone now message you on Twitter or later just being like, excuse me, but...
No, you got to push your glasses up and go, actually?
I wear my contacts today. I don't have my glasses on.
It's
just, it makes it a lot more difficult to be...
It's push into your eyes. My eyes! Right now, Kingen. This is exactly how they lost against Vici in that game too. Last week, they're going to see if they can go for him again. He needs support from his team. Xiaohu's going to fight. Oh, Xiaohu misses the chain, and he went for the double onto his Q. Everyone take a breather. Everyone take a sigh of relief. This game is still very much in the balance.
Ming has not been able to find it, but here we go. Claw goes in, nobody goes out, and BLG will step away one last time.
Black Shield is down again. It will be about another 6 or 7 seconds. So you can see RNG, as soon as that Black Shield is down, they're backing away. They're moving away from anyone who can get CC'd and then waiting for it to come back up.
Meteor needs to take a step back and let Jinmo be the one that's entering these fights. Gragas is so squishy right now that if you manage to get Xiaohu with a couple of procs of any of the spells, Meteor will be below half, and then this fight becomes far more difficult. See, Jinmo is able to tank a lot more and has that Gargoyle Stone play still there as well.
This game rests upon a knife's edge. Stray but a little and it will fail as the Fellowship of BLG looks to take down RNGs. The Dragon's gone over. This could be the fight. There it is. The engage. They've caught out Ming. And now they run onto Betty. He's forced to flash away. The Observer doesn't even know where to go for this one either as he's forced to back away. Betty is in no man's land. Puts down the bullet time to try and get Jin Zhao away, but it's just a matter of time until he is chased down and taken down.
Heal is burned, so at least he's making them work for it here. Betty will fall, but with the amount of time they spent on this bottom side of the map, they won't be able to get across to the Baron, which they really would have liked to pick up after that team fight, but with RNG wasting enough time, they'll be alright.
Key summoners down for RNG right now. They have not got Flash or Cleanse on Betty for this Baron fight. You can see BLG know they've got themselves about 30 seconds until the Misfortune is back in play. They need to go for this. It's the same as game one. They need to fight.
Zhao Longbao is hiding in the bush. You can see Zhao who's starting the back. They're giving this up. They don't want to go for it.
They have TPs available, but they are just going to give it up straight away. And that is going to be a Dragon Soul Cloud for a Baron in the end. Elder on the cards in 5 minutes. This game is still so damn close.
Not quite our longest one yet of the LPL, but definitely getting there.
4
I mean,
minutes.
40 minutes is
only 4
one of
minutes
the longer
to go.
ones, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got to that stage.
I was going to say, the way these teams are playing versus how FPX and IG, which, by the way, guys, is how we got our longest game of the season, which was FPX and IG. I think it was game 1 or 2, maybe? It was one of the 3. Anyway, if you haven't watched that series, I highly recommend you do. A fantastic game, or set of games. But BLG now, with the Baron buff, they got themselves 2 minutes, 20 seconds. They need to find an opportunity. They need to push in, look for the damage. They are now maxed out on items for pretty much all their carries.
Xiaohu is trying to hide, but has been spotted out. Kingen, with this sweeper, has been spotting LeBlanc more than he has been Wards. But Fofo, they're trying to chase down Xiaohu.
Xiaohu is so slippery, and this is the beauty of having the LeBlanc this late on. She can just blow someone up if left unchecked, and that is the scariest thing about this champion.
And that's what they're trying to find, but BLG doing a good job, doing their due diligence in keeping the side's control, having the wards there, but Zhao Longbao has managed to sneak in.
Shinmo tanking that binding.
Look at the Lee Sin.
Lee Sin is behind, looking for that ultimate kick, the insect from behind. But BLG not going to fall for it just now. They realize that something was amiss. They smelt something off, and they backed themselves away. BLG still with 1.5 minutes or just under with this Baron buff. They need to try and break open this base.
Everywhere needs to be littered with wards. Xiaohu on one side, Zhao Longbao on the other. Either of them getting in could be disastrous.
Xiaohu poking, prodding, pressing, seeing if he can find someone, just take that millimeter too close to the side of RNG. And it looks like for BLG, they'll get one more wave in this mid lane, and then they have to try to go back and set themselves up for this eventual Elder fight.
Calibrum for Jin Zhao, though, which is the favorite for trying to push in, although Moonlight Vigil gonna miss.
That's going to be a big miss ultimate there, and you can see as soon as that's gone, BLG, they're out of there. They don't want to even have anything to do with this. They're going to keep the waves pushing in, but they do not have the damage to continue with a 5v5.
And RNG are happy with that. I mean, you've got nothing out of that Baron buff. They're going to be able to look towards that Elder Drake in about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And that's where we're really going to get the decider of this game. If you can get either of these teams to have that Elder buff, particularly look at the likes of Xiaohu, who we already talked out, can very quickly 100-0 people. Same in the opposite side for the Moonlight Vigil for Jin Zhao. These can be so big in clutching out these team fights.
Fofo has his ultimate, Frozen Tomb. A Zanya's and a stopwatch, just in case. He is going to be in stasis if he puts it all on himself for so damn long.
And it's all on this team fight. This is what they're prepping for. They know that this is the last fight of the game. This could be the one that decides it. RNG picking up their first victory of the LPL, or a BLG joining eStars, joining IG at the top of the table.
Not quite yet, though. This will only send them to a game
True.
This will only send them there. It feels like we've been
It
into
does.
a
It feels so long.
Feels like an incredibly long time, but you can see there BLG getting themselves a 2.5, a little bit over 1,000 Baron power play. As now we start to hit 6 items. Gold means nothing at this stage. It's just being used for wards. That's all it has right now. Banshee's up as well. There's the Twin Shadows. RNG still looking to see if they can find that one opportunity.
They want to try and get that Banshees back onto Xiaohu, because that's what's really given the opportunity to go in and find this poke. Doesn't have to worry about the Frozen Tomb from Fofo or a Wad stun appearing from Jinmo, but doesn't have it. There's the Claw, but not wanting to follow up with a vision of what's over that wall.
Fofo has been pretty good with going in and not going in on those claws when he needs to, so I feel like he should have a decent mind of when he should and shouldn't be going in. Meteor takes a little bit of a chunk, but they have got the Ocean Drake in their back pocket. 30 seconds until this Elder Drake. We've seen how the Elder Drake works. We know how unbelievably powerful it is, and I feel like you just said, whoever gets it wins the game. That's the end of it.
And this is where we got to start looking at those side waves before we hit this Elder Dragon, because top lane's pushing in favor of RNG, so that can actually take that top lane turret. Bottom lane, though, is steadily pushing for BLG.
Xiaolongbao is on the bot side, has snuck himself and keeps himself safe with that vision ward. BLG still trying to get priority into this mid lane. You can see whoever owns the priority owns the game. Xiaolongbao going very deep into this territory. He's trying to get behind them.
The LDL jungler, the up-and-coming rookie for RNG, looking to try and make the play, make the difference for the roster. Hasn't been spotted out. Jinmo can't find him.
They don't know where he is. They will lose that top tier 2. That will almost certainly go down to the minions. It's a pretty decent wave for the side of RNG. Now the Dragon has spawned, but they might just barrel up in this mid lane. You can tell RNG know that they can just push in and get an advantage, and that's why BLG want to cut off the wave.
There's no wave left except for that top side of the map. You can see Betty is beelining towards that. They're going to sacrifice this to try and catch that top lane wave.
This could be a little bit of a race. They're going to leave it on Lee Sin to try and trade. This is going to be huge. This is Xiaolongbao to put himself on the RNG team. They're trying to go for him. He does get the kick off. The TPs are coming in. He will not get the steal. He will go into GA stasis, but RNG are in the base and the TPs are coming out. This is all or nothing now for the side of BLG. They do get back in time, and they have the Elder Drake.
The inhibitor has gone down, though, so RNG have managed to crack the base, creating a little bit more pressure. The problem is, it's on the top side of the map, where that Baron has now spawned. You've got BLG with this Elder Dragon as well, but it doesn't look like they care about that Baron, although as they say it, they will actually turn back towards it, realizing that, you know what, this 46-minute game, this is what, like our third Baron, fourth Baron?
Third Baron of the game coming in. They have got the Elder Drake as well. I feel like they had to turn for that Baron. They had no vision. They did not want to give it over for free, knowing that if RNG were able to take it with the misfortune in the Aatrox. So they now get both buffs. BLG will reset. And we got ourselves another 5 minutes or so.
It's slowing down the Elder buff, though. I don't know if he got 5 minutes or whatever time he might have, but 130 is only left on that Elder buff. They're not going to have that for very long unless they can make a play straight off the back. But look at where the waves are for RNG right now. They've done a good job of keeping them in check, pushing them out, and it means that BLG won't really be able to find the team fight that they would like before that Elder buff is gone.
Jin Zhao has decided, I don't need boots anymore. We're going with a GA. I need to be able to stay alive for as long as possible in these fights, and you can't really blame him for going for that one. As now we all look to see now what is the play from RNG. How do they crawl it back? Kingin now joining his team. They've got the Baron buff and they will crack the base. This is RNG now on the back foot. They're trying to just mitigate the damage on damage control. They will lose the inhibitor, but honestly, after losing an Elder Drake and a Baron buff, if that's all they lose, that's totally fine.
They are still pushing, though. A big minion wave here with that Baron buff. 30 seconds. They need to try and clear this to... Oh, Fofo.
Bofo needs to be very careful. So does Xiaohu, though. And Xiaohu is dead. That's the power of the Elder Drake. And that's the go sign for the side of Shinbo. He drops down the Solar Flare, and Bofo goes in as well. They do get the CC. They're trying to get the damage down. They will eventually find him as 2 fall for RNG. And BLG are still pushing.
Longjin is trying to make the hero play. 10 seconds on the Elder buff. There's 3v5. I don't think they can do it. BLG have cracked open 1 turret.
They've cracked 1. They're going to be looking to crack 2. It's all on to Ning and Betty. Betty has nothing left in the tank. Longshin just has no damage. And with that, you know it's going to be BLG bringing us to a game 3. What we deserve.
That game was so intense from start to finish. For what was a very low kill game throughout, we had the most excitement. Getting all the way with both teams to 3 dragons apiece. The Cloud Soul going to BLG.
To RNG, yes.
And then the Elder to BLG.
It was a clutch call from RNG right there. They made the decision saying we cannot 100% 5v5 fight at that Elder Drake. However, Xiaolongbao had to play the hero. He had to try and get in and get that steal so that if he gets the steal, even if he dies and Xiaohu dies, it doesn't matter. They end the game.
And that's the big problem, was that RNG hadn't got control of that area, so they couldn't set up to try and let Xiaohu pop over the wall, get the poke down, and then try and take the fight. You could see it consistently. Xiaohu was getting the damage onto the jungler Meteor for BLG. Couldn't get him into the pit because he was half health, quarter health before any sort of objective was spawning. But without the control there, they weren't able to do it. It meant Xiaohu couldn't be the big damage carry that they needed, and BLG were able to get control and take that dragon.
Going into game 3, possibly another 50-odd minute game. BLG, yes, they took the win, but it took a hell of a lot for them to crack open RNG. And RNG, they didn't look bad. They just didn't get the same amount of momentum that they got in game 1. So right now, you're coming into game 3. You're the coach of RNG. What are you saying to these guys?
Well, I mean, we looked at a very different RNG from game 1 to game 2, especially in the early game, where Ming wasn't getting out of that lane and getting involved. And I think that still could have been the case. You had the Misfortune there who can still lane pretty effectively, push out the waves very well, and offer Ming that opportunity to get involved. I think the difference was Xiaolongbao was going for this invade style. He wasn't going to try and get vision control and work in conjunction with Ming. It was to try and shut down Meteor on the opposite side, and unfortunately, he couldn't shut him down enough that it didn't matter when it got to the late game.
And for BLG, you've now, breathed a sigh of relief, I suppose. You're still in this series. You are using your one opportunity to try and take down RNG, and we talked about so many times in the broadcast between all of us and and casting and stuff. At the end of the day, the regular season, sometimes these head-to-heads can literally be the difference between you getting a bye and you being stuck against, a much longer run in the playoffs.
Even down to game difference, not picking up the 2-0 versus the 2-1, and we're now looking at potentially RNG versus BLG, who we would be looking at towards the top of the table. This could actually be the decider, as you said, as to who gets into that upper echelons of the standings and who doesn't.
Now, we'll have to wait and see exactly how this all pans out into game 3. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, but do not go anywhere as it all comes together in game 3 of BLG versus RNG.